Successful rescue of Milne Bay vessel in distress. More than 28 posts closed in Kabwum. And preparations ramping up for MTV's Carols Under the Stars.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Wednesday's news. We begin tonight's bulletin with an MTV News exclusive. 10 people were rescued after drifting out at sea for at least 36 hours off the coast of Milne Bay province. Captain Norman Lemecki of MV Louisiane, his 4 crew members and 5 passengers were saved after their emergency distress call was picked up by CS Fuhai, a telecommunication cable-laying vessel en route to Port Moresby. Their boat was towed into Port Moresby's Fairfax Harbour by CS Fuhai at 7 a.m. this morning.
The chances of being rescued at sea during a rough weather are very slim, especially during the festive season when most shipping companies are winding down their operations. For Captain Lemecki and his team, they were traveling from Alotau to Port Moresby when they encountered a mechanical fault.
The gear, the knob there, we try to push it up to kick ahead the engine. It doesn't work, and that's where we know that there's something wrong inside the gearbox. Engine was okay, engine was running, but the gearbox that turns the prop so that it can push the ship to run. So we tried every means and we could not. And when we found out that it's gearbox, we know that we can't do much. So I told my boss to drop down the stabilizers. The vessel is a very small boat and has a small draft, which is 1.7, so it's not really stable. The waves were 3 to 5 meters high, and we find it is very comfortable. It was really, so I told them to put the stabilizers down, and that's why it helped us to stabilize the vessel.
For a small boat the size of MV Louisiane, it would take 2 days to reach Port Moresby. However, the team faced engine failure and were drifting away from Papua New Guinean waters when they sent out a distress call. For Captain Lemecki, being rescued alive was his only hope.
I want to be rescued because I'm carrying the 5 passengers and my crew, and if anything could happen, I will be held responsible as masters of vessels, will be accounted for.
0.5 nautical miles away from the CS Fuhai's location. Under Captain Lubo's instructions, the crew rescued the passengers and crew on board MV Louisiane.
I also saw you send the red handle frame, the distress signal. So I think you are in a serious situation to need help and rescue. So was diverting my vessel from our planned routing to close to that boat. At the same time, I contact our company, tell them what happened, the boat in distress need help. Also, I contact with Moresby local our agent. Let him help to send out the emergency distress call. I think the MRCC of your country have received this signal. And at that time we close the boat, know the situation of the boat. I think we have ability to rescue them. And
the news of the rescue was well received by families of the survivors who had not received any word from them for at least 36 hours. As for the CS Fuhai crew, they were happy they had saved not 1 life but 10 at a time when helping and sharing the human spirit is celebrated.
We can bring them to home, and the crew and passenger can stay with his family together.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The first of the 4 Guardian class patrol boats which will be used by the PNGDF for maritime security operations has arrived in Papua New Guinea. The naval vessel, which will be commissioned as HMPNGS Tediro in 2019, will be based in Lombrum, Manus. PNGDF Commander Major General Gilbert Torpo says the transition of using Pacific class patrol boats to the Guardian class is part of an ongoing partnership between the PNG and Australian governments. These boats have been given by the Australian government under the Pacific Maritime Security Program. The remaining 3 will be received over the next 2 years.
Support from Australian Defence Force and Australian government is an ongoing program that we have through our bilateral relationship. As part of our relationship, the 4 Pacific class patrol boats are going to be replaced with new patrol boats known as the Guardian class patrol boats. These are bigger and the better ones, so in order to accommodate the bigger boats, we need to improve our infrastructure in Manus. So that's an ongoing commitment from Australia.
More than 28 posts in the Kabwum district of Milne Bay are not operating because they have no staff. Health workers in the Kabwum and Yalumet health centers said this has made it more difficult to deliver health services to rural populations. Community health worker at Yalumet, Musa Bossing, said the government should employ more staff for this district.
This is the Toep aid post in the Deamos LLG of the Kabwum district. It has been closed for more than 5 years and is now covered by plants. Outside there is a sign telling people not to touch the aid post. Inside there is no furniture. The nearby villagers who relied on this service now have to go elsewhere. Wani Kolomet is the community leader here at Toep. He said since the aid post stopped operating, they've had to travel long distances to get help.
One blood ten does work money come now. There's a workman walk does a hard long in. It's have inside on this a house it me a big bush 2 year and a hard long. There's a workman is now there's a workman go out now.
The Toep aid post also served villages here at Longmon, which is an hour walk away from the aid post. Without the Toep aid post, they have all had to walk to the nearest health center at Yalumet, which is a 3-hour walk from here.
How she can pass nami plus I stop nothing. Hard long me like going.
With the mountainous area and no access to roads, villagers do not get much help out here.
Mama got bell too, also hard, also current picking in low, palace, and hard through me plus a caramel. Mama got bell, go housey.
Back at the Yalumet station, community health worker Musa Bossing says the district needs more staff for the aid posts to increase accessibility for patients in remote areas.
Plan di sigman sampla usai kam long way osem ne sampla sai kam sampla novara listabungi maybe and this ala heavy and steel istabia.
Another health worker at the Kabwum Health Center said most of the aid posts in the district are now closed because there are no staff.
Some organized post one play in Salo district for popularity at 37 aid post, 26 vacant.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
The Kabwum district is still to reach the round 4 target population for polio vaccinations. A community health worker in Yalumet, Musa Bossing, says not all parents brought their children for vaccination during the campaign and there were problems faced with logistics. Mr. Bossing says the Milne Bay Health Authority has instructed them to carry out another round of polio vaccinations next year.
Majority mipla all kisim good desala all geda marasin. So for round lo patro mipla meki mem right. But narabla something to say report blog go out long headquarter long all compiling na looking target one em blong desla all marasin all kisim blongen mino come up good. Last time taso mipla harem the news was two the district was district what the Kabwum district target mark blong all come up long mark.
For several months, the Yalumet Health Center has been experiencing a shortage of medicine. Community health worker Musa Bossing said they have only been treating serious illnesses because of this.
This is the Yalumet Health Center in the Diamos LLG. It serves over 50 villages in its zone and is run by the Lutheran Church. For the past several months, they have been facing medicine shortages.
Inshallah desla emipla bungim big pla heavy terus. Plan di sikman all bungim heavy. Sampla mipla sebi mol sampla all lusim life. All come close to mipla. Yes, mipla igar ligli marasin mipla bazetim. Istablo lulug long all heavy pla na sibia cases taso mipla givi morad longen.
This is the health center's dispensary. They've been running out of antibiotics and anti-malarial drugs and basic supplies like gauze and gloves.
Yes, plenty of sick man all get also plenty complaint blow all by come suit steroid lo maglo common drugs. Also pen, school, soa, or big bla card also injury number.
Medicine shortages have been a nationwide problem. Urban clinics in Ley and other centers also reported having continuous medicine shortages. In response, Minister for Health Dr. Puka Temu said procurement procedures have to be improved. Mr. Bossing said the onus is on health centers to place their orders early and the government has to be up to date in delivering medicine.
Suppose all got enough stock long, give him out the time straight and say taking close to 1 month. Suppose no got order by go stop beyond 2 or 3 months already finished now by all salamika.
Mr. Bossing said they have had to show patients the dispensary to prove to them that they do not have medicine in stock. Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Ley.
There is a possibility that the Buka airport may be closed indefinitely from Saturday onwards if issues are not addressed by the autonomous Bougainville government. In a statement today, National Airports Corporation Acting Managing Director Richard Yopo said unless the ABG authorities put in place commitments and strategies to ensure that the fencing works can continue without disruption and that law and order is maintained at the airport on a continuous basis, the NAC will be forced to close the airport, severely disrupting the holiday plans for Bougainvilleans. Late on Tuesday, the NAC had issued a notice to the ABG calling on the authorities to deal with what had been described as continuous issues regarding the safety of NAC infrastructure and assets, interfering with damaging the runway puppy lights, pedestrians in animal crossing, vehicles driving on the runway strips being used as playground by the nearby village and Bukatan residents has been a norm, forcing the NAC to take this latest action. You're watching National MTV News this Wednesday. We'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. With the growing rates of market tuberculosis in Papua New Guinea today, the Lahi Anti-Tuberculosis Association aims to help reduce the cases in clinics in Ley through awareness. The Lahi Anti-TB Association has been operating for over 10 years without proper funding.
The Lahi Anti-Tuberculosis Association is made up of more than 60 volunteers from Ley urban clinics. They aim to help reduce the growing rate of market tuberculosis.
I think the group will be a powerhouse behind us in terms of achieving our health indicators.
This association was formed by health workers in 1999 as the Milne Anti-TB Association. The association ceased and was re-established as the Lahi Anti-TB Association in 2004. TB is one of the main causes of deaths in Papua New Guinea, and the disease is a major risk to communities. The association have been achieving its targets with hard-working volunteers.
They used Ley District and our volunteers. They used the group to achieve that target of the cure rate of more than 85%.
Since the association started, they have not received any funding support. They host fundraisings to fund awarenesses and are supported by communities from time to time. These volunteers also help with awarenesses for polio and HIV.
This time me work volunteer. We play giving bell na making work la help him all usati got sick TV. Main focus bro me play by down him market TV.
The Lahi NTTB Association received funds from the Leh District Office and launched a new logo today. Sister Awasa said with the launching of the new logo and banner, they can be recognized in Leh. Philia Pisep, National MTV News, Leh.
Today, more than 80 people in Port Moresby became certified community treatment supporters for tuberculosis under the NCD TB program. The CTS is a community-based TB treatment program set up for the fight against tuberculosis within the nation's capital.
The training of the community treatment supporters is part of the TB outreach strategy to reduce the impact of TB in terms of infection, suffering, deaths and discrimination. The 80 certified community treatment supporters received their official uniforms today and will begin to give awareness in their local communities. The community treatment supporters come from communities near the 5 TB clinics located at Badili, Kaugere, Taurama, Loos Road and Kilakila, and they will now remain advocates of TB in their own communities.
We try to ask them to come to the clinic using the treatment supporters, but if they are not willing to come, that's the time the CTS, the treatment supervisors, the treatment supporters, they report to the supervisor, and then we make appointment with the TB staffs at the BMU at the clinic. So we make time available, and then we go in the household and we do the whole household screening. We get everybody tested.
The program is an initiative supported by the National Department of Health, FHI 360 and the Salvation Army. The community treatment supporters' role is to locate and identify people with TB and help them to get the treatment they need. They will also refer patients to respective TB clinics for treatment. CTS Supervisor Gracelyn Kaupa says under this program, many TB patients in Moresby South have already been treated.
We support them in means of food bus fare every 2 weeks. That's for the second multi-drug resistant, the second phase TB. And what we do, we also we reimburse the bus fare depending on the distance they are coming. Like for Kaugere, Badili, it's like 30 kina.
NCD is home to only 5% of the country's population, but contributes to 22% of all TB cases nationally. Team leader Ian Badali told MTV News that initiatives like this will encourage and motivate them to serve their community with pride and help support the fight against TB in the country. Rayon Lakingu, National MTV News.
Hagen Park Secondary School Principal Tony Buldung has condemned assertions of his involvement in the misuse of tuition fee-free funding. However, he welcomes the investigations into the allegations. The Western Highlands Provincial Education Board and the Provincial Administration yesterday published the names of 3 schools in the province which are to be investigated over the management of TFF funding. Mr. Buldung says his superiors should do their investigations first before publishing names in the media.
People might think that
Hagen Park Secondary School Principal Tony Buldung is among 2 other school principals in Western Highlands Province listed by Provincial Education Board to be investigated over the alleged misuse of TFF funding. Today, Buldung spoke to the media condemning the actions of his superiors for not investigating the allegations first before tarnishing their names in the media.
As a principal, I built this name over years. And my reputation as a principal, as a person, and then the school board of management, the school itself. By doing that, they're not spoiling Hagen Park or my name, but they're also putting bad name to the education system in Western Highlands too, you see.
Buldung has been accused of signing checks without the approval of the school board, including similar administrative allegations. Buldung told MTV News that he is not the only signatory of school funds, and school checks are cleared after they are sent to the Education Finance Office.
The authorization is coming from the provincial education advisor, NOSCAP, and the finance coordinator, Naman Daniel. Now, if there are some allegations regarding our finance in the school, they're supposed to ask these two gentlemen first.
Yesterday, Provincial Education Board Chairman Lawrence Pena said Hagen Park, Kubaya and Ogulbang High Schools are the first three to be investigated for the alleged gross misusing of millions of kina in TFF funding. Pena said this has resulted in the poor performances of students and no changes in the school's infrastructure.
And we want to see quality, learning taking place in all the schools, not in one school.
However, Mr. Buldung says the school never received its full component of 2 million kina each year. Sometimes the school gets 200,000 kina installment payments for operational grants and sometimes lesser.
So we are only playing around with these 30% components for operational cost only, you see.
30% of the TFF components that go to Trade Pacific for school materials never reach the school. Another 10% of the TFF components for project maintenance, which goes to the District Development Authority, have never been paid to them also.
They're giving us little by little, so we are struggling. In fact, we are struggling.
This also calls for an investigation into the distributing of TFF components to contractors and the DDA and the processes involved to deliver school materials and projects. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Mopix Training Institute has extended the durations of certificate and diploma programs that it offers. Speaking yesterday during the Institute's 14th graduation ceremony in Port Moresby, Chief Executive Director Marcos Cara said the extension of program durations is to allow enough for the programs to be taught to students. Elizabeth Guka reports.
With the inclusion of additional course components at the Training Institute, the extension of course durations is to meet that demand as well. The certificate programs have been extended from 3 to 4 months and the diploma from 6 months to a year.
In addition to course modeling, it will enable us deliver programs, the lengthier than currently we offer right now. In certificates in 4 months and the diploma in 1 year.
The director also added that additional extensions in study durations will also be given to advanced courses offered at the Institute.
With the advanced courses and other programs in it, we might increase the length of time.
Apart from the extensions on program durations, the Institute recently expanded its open campus centers to Morobe and East Sepik Province. According to Mr. Kara, plans are currently underway to include other provincial campus centers.
We are looking forward for 2019, which will be very big. It will cover Ley, Wewak and Port Moresby campuses. We have also negotiations and arrangements are underway with other, provincial governments.
Meanwhile, the school now has 2 new buses donated by Bank South Pacific and a new dormitory to cater for students who reside outside of Port Moresby.
We have dormitories at Karama campus, and we also have new buses donated by BSP, and also we have other achievements taking place.
Elizabeth Guka, National EMTV News.
As schools throughout the country prepare to roll out the standard-based curriculum next year, the delivery of materials is seen as a problem for many schools. 2 primary schools in Kabwum district in Milne Bay are now waiting for SBC materials to roll out the curriculum in time in the new year. Staff from Yalumet and Boyang primary schools want materials to be delivered straight to the schools. This was highlighted to EMTV News by head teachers who were interviewed.
Yalumet Primary School will implement the standard-based curriculum next year. However, materials have not reached the school. The head teacher, Shoni Sokeb, said they cannot implement without materials. He said few materials were delivered at the station, but transporting them to the school is a problem.
Next year, suppose we start in school and we got problem on the start yet.
Yalumet Primary School is located at the Yalumet Station, Kabwum district in Morobe. The primary school is just one of many other schools in Milne Bay that needs SPC materials. Similar concerns were raised by Tanam primary head teacher outside Lay City, Rixon Kamban.
Because at this time, I'm only giving enough resource. I'm not talking about implementing a lot of challenges.
Meanwhile, Boyang Primary School in Kabwum is not ready to implement SPC, says head teacher Kuma Torika. Mr. Torika said the school faced many problems with teaching materials in the past years. He said it's a challenge to implement a new curriculum having unresolved issues in school.
But we still need money to operate in the school, to purchase the student learning materials, teachers and all this. For SPC, we did not receive any books, or reading books or resource book for the teachers.
Mary Boyonigani, National EMTV News, Lay.
The East New Britain Provincial Executive Council has passed a budget of 329 million kina for 2019. The budget is an increase of 21% from this year's 233 million kina. PEC Chairman Nakikus Konga says a large portion of the budget will go towards improving road infrastructure. Edwin Fiddlis reports from Kokopo.
Much of the contribution towards East New Britain's 2019 budget will come from national government's grants, an amount of 250 million kina. The other half will come from its internal revenue, which is estimated at 78 million kina, and its recurrent grants of 53 million kina. East New Britain Governor Nakikus Konga, who is also the chairman of the East New Britain PEC, says the budget is one tailored for the people.
So this year we have now increased it's an increase of almost 100 million, which is much better than last year. So we expect now, money today determines her. So we expect now that, we will be moving forward.
The infrastructure sector got the biggest share from the budget, 117 million kina. Konga says good roads and bridges will enable the people to actively participate in the SME sector.
Our plan is now to build 10 kilometers of road every year. And that is mainly working on the PSIP, DSIP, kina to kina basis. Okay, for example, for Kokopo, if we want to do some 2 kilometers of road here, I put in my 2 million, he put in another 2 million.
The economic sector got the second largest portion of the budget. About 23 million kina will go towards developing the provincial economy. The education and health sector also got recognition from the budget. Each got about 19 million kina. Next year's budget has seen a significant increase by 21%. The provincial government has also taken into consideration the recent granting of autonomy that now puts the province at an advantage of dictating how much it wants to collect through goods and services tax.
So we think also we will build up the economy. We will build up the economy of the province. Not only depending on taxes, but also to invest itself. The provincial government must invest on land and everything. So we have to look for our own money.
The governor says the 2019 budget is just a list of figures. All they need to do now is to put a face to these numbers. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Efforts are underway to grow small to medium enterprises in the Thalassia district of West New Britain. Earlier this week, an agreement was signed to establish a credit facility to provide inclusive and accessible loans for people in remote Thalassia. National Development Bank subsidiary, People's Microbank Limited, will be overseeing this credit facility. This week, representatives from the Thalassia District Development Authority signed an agreement that will see over 4 million kina provided to the people of Thalassia through loans over the next 4 years. According to West New Britain Governor Sasindran Mutuvel, low-cost capital funds for the growth of micro and SMEs through this facility will enable more people to play a more active role in the economic development of West New Britain province.
This is why it's really important that the member initiating this one, as he stated in his policy, because it's important his policy as governance and also to support or to generate revenue for our people so that money goes direct into their budgets.
As part of this credit facility arrangement, the Thalassia District Development Authority provided an initial cash guarantee of 600,000 kina. These funds will be held by People's Microbank Limited in a trust account as security for selected and qualified loan applications within Thalassia electorate.
And with that, I know the
this partnership is more aligned with what's going to be delivered in this country. And now that it's materialized in this district, we want to see it happen, and we want more support from the bank to see more of customers and also more developments and the number of people involved in it.
For PMBL, this initiative is another way of supporting the development of SMEs by providing a dedicated credit facility for people to venture into micro, small-scale commercial or agricultural processing activities. This will all be facilitated through PMBL's branch in Kimbe.
I'm glad that we have been chosen as a partner by the Talasea District Development Authority. I look forward we can replicate it even in a bigger way. And I look forward that the proposed 5.2 million funding guarantee for this scheme will come to happen and be realized over the next 5 years.
You're watching National MTV News this Wednesday. We'll be back with more of the stories from the local front when we return. Welcome back to National MTV News. Preparations for MTV's special Carols Under the Stars live broadcast, set for this Sunday, has seen members of MTV's Vocal Fusion program in full rehearsal since last week. The special feature will see upcoming local artists who have auditioned and contested on MTV's Vocal Fusion program performing some of your favorite Christmas carols at the Sejongai Stadium. It's being billed as a must-not-miss event for families in Port Moresby and will be featuring some of your #1 station's most recognizable personalities.
MTV's first ever Carols Under the Stars program has given an opportunity for upcoming artists who have contested in Vocal Fusion to collaborate in singing Christmas carols. The contestants from across several Vocal Fusion seasons have been practicing on their staging and vocals with their musicians and sound engineers.
Rehearsals have been really good. We've been trying our best to tie every end up, get our vocals in check, our harmonies. We start at 10 a.m. and finish at 4:06.
Although their rehearsals have been pretty hectic, the team is excited and looking forward to sharing the Christmas spirit with the rest of the nation.
You know, some people may not come attend the event, but when you are at home watching this, like we're sending that feeling of Christmas out to them.
MTV has decided to share this program and this festive season with the whole nation, and to me that's a bonus, that's a plus to everyone, because we can then be part of the event and yet be safe at our homes.
Some of the team will be singing solo, while others will be doing duets and trios on some of your favorite Christmas carols. The Carols Under the Stars program is scheduled for this coming Sunday. The program will feature performances by Vocal Fusion artists, local choir groups, and there will also be a visit from Santa. Tickets for the program are on sale at the MTV office on the 2nd floor of Garden City, Boroko, and the program will also be broadcast live on MTV. Patricia Keamo, National MTV News.
The National Court has declared Tony Wowo as the duly elected regional member for West Sepik. The declaration was made after the recount of disputed boxes 84 and 85. The judicial recount presented by the National Court Registrar stated that the 2 disputed boxes did not change the results of the 2017 national elections. Governor Wowo said today that he will waste no time and move forward to bring development and services to the people of Sandaun Province.
Some of the projects which I have taken my initiative to make it happen is now eventually come up slowly. But within my period of 5 years, I will, not 5 years, maybe 3 years from now, or maybe 2.5 years, I will try to make sure I deliver to my best that I can be able to do.
You're watching the news on your #1 to watch. We go for a break, and when we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Rugby League. Port Moresby's Morata Off-Season Rugby League has been given the mandate by the Office of NCD Governor to manage and run the 2018 NCD Christmas Governors Cup Challenge. The launching was done today at the Coney Tigers Oval in Port Moresby, witnessed by representatives from the NCD Sports Desk and Morata Off-Season League executives. Suli with the details.
More than 30 teams in the men's division have been confirmed for this year's Governors Cup, including 8 teams from the women's division. Morata Off-Season Rugby League Competition CEO Ivan Tau Jr. says the tournament will be played at 2 venues, the Coney Tigers Oval and Calgary Field.
We are sure that by tomorrow we should have about 32 teams participating for the male division. And for the female division, we are looking at securing 8. We only have about 8 positions for the female division. Okay, with regard to the venues, we are actually in discussion with the Calgary team, and we are looking at securing the Calgary venue alongside Coney Tigers.
The 2018 NCD Governors Cup Tournament Director and Morata Off-Season Rugby League Competition President Jackson Namoni says this year's tournament will focus more on engaging youth to show positive behavior during the festive season.
This is a game also mipla long, all community long. Stopping mipla all youths lawyer, all man noken, all youth noken, creating all violence, attacking all mama, all Mary, or young all Mary on the streets, pulling drug, drink all unmade beer and about making more trouble on community level. Me play time lo bungi mo here so only can pass him time na. Take part of this activity in terms of Christmas.
Registration is now open. All fees are to be paid to the Morata Off-Season League before the kick-off this Friday.
Okay, the registration amount for the male is 550 Kina. And for the female is 350 kilo. The registration, the due date for the registration is Thursday, which is tomorrow, at around 4 o'clock.
Finals will be held on the 25th. Suli, National EMTV Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. We'll continue with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To football now. Interested clubs from the Highlands and NGI region who intend to participate in the National Soccer League competition have been urged to send their expressions of interest before the 31st of this month. So far, only 2 teams from the NGI and 5 from the Highlands region have showed interest.
The NGI region has 3 teams that have expressed interest, while the Highlands region has 5 teams. However, 1 team has submitted their EOI and receipt of payment. The 8 teams from both regions are not confirmed, but teams that have expressed interest to be part of the 2019 NSL season. 6 teams each are expected to compete in these 2 regions. Late submissions of the EOI after the closing date will not be accepted. The EOI holds a fee of 5,000 kina, which is non-refundable. All submissions will be endorsed by PNGFA and the NSL board before participating in the 2019 competition. The board will then advise all intending clubs of the outcome before they make an announcement of the composition of the new look NSL competition. With 2 weeks remaining, those wishing to take part must send in their EOI as soon as possible for deliberation by PNGFA and the NSL board. The National Soccer League 2019 season will kick off next year on the 19th of January. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports for this evening. We go for a quick break, and when we come back, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A quick look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby can expect some cloudy weather and showers later on. To the Momasa region, Lake can expect a few showers and thunderstorms easing tonight and then cloudy weather for the rest of the day tomorrow. To the New Guinea Islands region, Kokopo and Rabaul, showers and thunderstorms tonight with a cloudy morning tomorrow. And in the Highlands region, the major centres Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabe can expect a shower or two this evening with early morning fog developing.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Wednesday, the 19th of December, 2018. On behalf of the entire MTV news team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.